Well, hi there, Andrew Bell with you once again. Of course, there's going to be a lot of discussion throughout the upcoming federal election about the housing crisis. Yes, it does get worse, but there's a constant underlying reason that's really spoken about. It has big impacts also about where money will be spent moving forward in the real estate market and infrastructure. First up, Australia's birth rate. It's fallen to an all-time low. Our birth rate last peaked in 2009, when the average number of babies a woman would have in her lifetime was 1.97, as opposed to the latest data for 2023, which shows that it has dropped to 1.5. In that year, there were 286,998 registered births, which was the lowest since 2006. Now, out of interest, the replacement level needed to keep population steady, constant, over the long term, has been considered to be 2.1. So we're a long way off the baby boom period that followed World War II. And the graph on screen now shows you the decline in births. Now, there's a general belief that without migration, our natural population growth would be in decline if birth rates are in decline. But there's a counterbalance to that, and that is death rates. In countries like Japan, Russia and South Korea, they have very low birth rates and are seeing their populations in decline. But we have to take in consideration that the death rate has also fallen to a lowest level ever. The number of deaths in Australia in 2023 was 183,131, which is down around 4% from 2022, when the pandemic did increase that death rate. In comparison to 10 years earlier, there were 35,000 more deaths. But when you consider the population grown by 3.5 million, that's quite amazing. Forgetting migration just for a moment, what we're faced with is an older population not moving out of the homes at the same rate they used to, bringing less properties to the market for younger people to move into. Just as a side observation, what this means is that we have a declining need in the future for things like primary schools as we move into the 2030s, which is estimated at that time there will be 150,000 fewer primary school students than we have at present. That will then flow into about 10 years later, into the high schools, where we'll need less high schools. But on the other end of the scale, there's a never increasing demand for aged care, retirement facilities and mature living residences. It's quite a shift to our infrastructure needs moving forward over the next couple of decades. Now, back to the housing market for a moment. Of course, we continue to have pressure on housing demands because of immigration. Now, the reason we need to continue with immigration is with fewer young people coming into the workforce, we're going to need to bring people into the country to fill the much needed positions. A really clear example of that is the housing market itself, where we just simply don't have sufficient labourers, let alone skilled tradespeople, to help produce the volume of homes that we need to build at present. We can continue talking about target numbers of homes that need to be built, but the problem is that they're just not getting built. It's a multifaceted problem that encompasses the cost of building, the lack of skilled labour, the infrastructure costs, the capital costs, interest rates, and the ability or inability of the industry to build affordable housing in the locations where the greatest demand is in our population. We just cannot produce enough affordable homes. Now, as you may know, I'm a board member of the Real Estate Institute of Australia, and we get some incredible research that I love to share with you when I can. Now, the latest report on mortgage repayments show that we now require 50.1% of the median family income as of December 2024, which is a 1.4% increase in the average home loan repayment on the previous quarter. So when you marry together the shortage of properties and then, of course, the housing affordability and other factors, the problem is our politicians are really just fluffing around at the edges. And we're never going to solve the problem unless something's done in a much more concerted way. So let's put a lot of pressure on our politicians during this federal election and demand that we start to see some true commitments to getting this housing crisis dealt with by more construction. Now, this is going to take some requirement of some incentives from federal, state and local governments to bring schemes in that will encourage home buyers and developers alike to start borrowing money and investing into that construction. Hey, just before closing out, want to just release a bit of news. You know, we've been having our Business Beat Sports Lunch, been going on for over 20 years. And in the last few years, I've been focusing on the billionaires, representing the business interests and talking about their amazing journeys and how they came to be so successful. And of course, we had Bruce Matheson 2 years ago, and that was just so well received. Last year, Harry Trigueros, what an amazing story he has. Well, the news is, for this year, we have another local billionaire, Clive Palmer. What a fascinating person he is. And so many twists and turns and unusual features. It's going to be a fascinating interview. And of course, we've got some of our top sports people as well. I'll let you know more about them shortly. But put in your diary, book a table, the 30th of May, 2025, Star Casino. It's going to be a fascinating lunch. Details on screen now for a booking. Well, that's it for this fortnight, so I look forward to being with you in another 2 weeks. Bye for now.